What up?
What's good?
Hey.
Oh, you're excited. I can tell how excited Meg is from it.
Yeah, just hang out with us.
I don't like this movie at all. So
Okay, relax. Anyway, welcome back to World's Finest. Obviously, you could tell, you saw the thumbnail. This is a big time The Batman spoiler discussion. So spoilers. Hopefully you've seen this movie. If not, we're about to spoil it for you. So if you don't want to get it spoiled, you might want to bounce.
Yep.
Come back after you watch it and watch it again. So how you guys doing tonight?
I'm good. I've been talking
Pretty
about
good.
the Batman since fucking Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all have. Obviously, we put together a fire panel of people to come in here and discuss this movie with us. Get a bunch of different opinions. I think for the most part, everybody here just loves it, and we're going to tell you how much we loved it in just a few. Real quick, let me get to the chat. A-List, what's good, homie? He says he's hyped. Donovan Barter actually loved the Batman. Same. I saw the fan screening. Same. Saw it there. Yes. The Batmobile scene. You talk about movie theater shaking as that shit started. Yeah, it's fire. Nice riddle. Drogo was good. What up? Fear Jace was good, man. Hey, we're just here to talk about the Batman. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and start bringing in some of the panelists, and let's get this thing started, man. First off, Amanda to the stream. What's up?
Hey, oh my God, I'm so excited to be here with you, Gems. This is going to be awesome. And I've been talking about the Batman all weekend, so let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, might as well end the weekend off, right?
Yeah.
Next up coming in, Rap Nerd was good, man.
What's going on, y'all?
What's up? Obviously, you're eager to talk about this fucking epic movie.
Yeah.
Just look at the glasses and you already know.
Destiny was good.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to talk about Batman with you guys. I've been waiting for this. I have to get into this.
Yes, same. Phil, what's up, man?
Hey everybody, how's it going? Thanks for the invite. Excited to be here.
Phil with the Bruce Wayne hairdo right now, like he's what's up?
It wasn't intentional. The hair.
Ohio Dave was good, homie.
What up, man? How's it going, man? Thanks for having me, bro.
Hey, yo, as always, man. You got to see the movie as well. You enjoyed it?
I did. I liked it a lot.
All right, yeah. So I want to thank you guys all for showing up. I think we got a couple more people that might be showing. Wait a minute, a couple more people. So we appreciate you guys coming to talk about this movie with us. Normally we like to when these bigger movies come out, and we like to get a full discussion going on whenever we discuss them. We did it with Dune, Spider-Man, No Way Home, and now the Batman. Mm-hmm. I'm sure this isn't the last one. We got some movies coming out this year that are going to, warrant this type of discussion. So I guess everybody's doing good tonight. Yeah, can't wait to watch. So look, I'm gonna start with we'll start with Destiny real quick. Let me get your initial thoughts as you walked out of the movie theater of the Batman when you saw it. What was the first things that went rambling on in your mind?
Okay, I'm going first. But initial thoughts, I just felt like I was a changed person from seeing the Batman. I'm not even kidding. I really love this movie. I feel like when I was watching the movie, it was like I was just in awe that this is something I'm seeing in my lifetime. It to me is like a perfect Batman movie. I love the detective aspects of it, the noir aspects. I was so in love with Zoe as Catwoman, which I was hoping. Yeah. So I just fell in love. I was just driving home listening to the music, couldn't get off my mind. Yeah. So I loved it.
Nice. Rap Nerd, what you think, man? Initial thoughts?
Oh man, being a Batman fan since a kid, literally when I got to my car, right, I just sat in there for maybe 15 minutes, just fully blown away because I've always wanted a Batman movie that I can call my own, and this one here is the one that I can this is my Batman movie. Everything gets checked off right. I can't even begin to express it. So without rambling too long, I mean, I was floored, honestly.
Same. Amanda, what'd you think?
Oh, the exact same thing. I had to my expectations were like in the middle. I didn't want to like overhype it just for me, because I tend to do that, and then like it happens like WandaVision where it's a Ralph Boner situation. Not that I want to say that, but you know, I don't have a great track record, fam. So I'm just like, let me lower this. But man, did this exceed my expectations. I was like watching those credits roll at the end, and I had to sit back in my seat and just like process it for a good like 15 minutes afterwards. Like I couldn't move, and it was just really, really well done. And for me, the one word that comes to mind after watching the Batman is that it was refreshing.
Yes,
it was really
good word.
refreshing. Yeah, I'll get into that after. But man, it's exceeded my expectations.
Yes.
This is the Batman. Like this is Batman. So I loved it.
Phil, I already know because you told me already. But Phil, your thoughts, bro?
I'm literally really fresh out of my third viewing. I've seen it twice this weekend, and I saw it Tuesday for the fan screening. I think I can just echo what everyone else has already said. This is, as a huge Batman fan from like young age to now, like seeing like a Batman that's so detective driven, so dark, so grim, and just bringing so many elements of that world to life in such a way. I don't think there was a bad performance. I wish I would have sat in my car for about 15 minutes to ingest it, but I've been just talking about this movie for the last week. I can't get it out of my head. I adore every frame of it, mostly, but I have nothing really bad to say about this movie. It's hands down my favorite solo Batman film ever made.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Before we get to Dave, let's bring in our next one. Scott, what's good, man?
Hey, what's up, Scott?
Look at the
What up, Scott?
shirt.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, swagging on him.
I know.
Love it.
Dang.
Scott, what's good, man? How you doing, Scott?
Doing fine. Sorry for being late. Sick
No,
baby.
It's okay.
Oh, you're
That's
good.
all
All
right.
right. You're good. So we're just talking initial thoughts real quick. Let me get yours, Dave. Your initial thoughts as you walked out. Like what were you thinking?
Yeah, I think like the way Amanda put it is good. Like it was refreshing to see for like a couple different reasons, like this type of movie. And I mean, I loved it. I thought it was a great movie. I mean, I had kind of high expectations for it because Matt Reeves, in my opinion, just doesn't make bad movies.
Yeah.
So I expected it. And Greg Fraser, I mean, is like top of the level, cinematographer. So
Yeah.
I had a lot of high expectations for it. But yeah, I mean, it was great, man. I enjoyed it a lot. Like I was shocked in a good way by how much I liked Robert's Batman, like in the way he portrayed him. So without getting into too much over it, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Cool. I think that's the consensus here. Scott, man, initial thoughts. First viewing, you walking out of there, like what's going through your head?
Hot damn. I think that pretty much sums it up. I mean, getting to go, because I got to go to that Tuesday night, early preview. I was there with my dad. And so I was having my dad there because it's so like, okay, I need to level set. Okay.
Yeah.
Dad, what did you think? And he was like, oh yeah, that was good. And and when you're talking about favorite moments or favorite lines throughout, and my dad was like, that dude was creepy. Yeah, he was, wasn't he? And because this movie is funny, by the way. So talking about some of our favorite jokes, the dark ones, because those are the best ones, and just going, it met them. Like kind of like what Dave was saying, insane expectations going into this. I was watching, thankfully, because I stopped following the news. I was able to go into this like I didn't watch any of the clips. Like literally, the only thing I watched were the trailers. I watched 3 trailers and I listened to the soundtrack on repeat as soon as it dropped. And I read, I was pulling this out. I read the Junior novel.
I read that because of you, so thank you.
Yes, it's books. But but that was it. Like that's all I did. And so I was like, okay, but the way people are talking, the way the trailers are looking, I'm like, are we talking best solo Batman movie ever? And then when I walked out, I was like, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm old enough that like I was there June '89, 7 years old.
Bruh.
I've been there for, except for 1966. I've been there for all of them. So I have a ball.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I do remember sitting in that theater and watching Batman '89. Shit's fire. But yeah. Joey, man, what your initial thoughts?
I think going along with like everybody talking about like expectations, I think one of the first things I thought was just finally this movie's out. Finally, people are able to see it, because we've gone through so much with this movie as far as like release dates getting pushed and all the behind the scenes changes and stuff like that. And yeah, like it's definitely my favorite Batman solo film. Like getting up, I was like, I got to give this at least a 9 out of 10. And like after seeing it 3 times, like letting it digest a little bit, I think I'm sticking with that. Like it doesn't drop at all.
Yeah, better with each viewing. Meg, what you think?
Basically everything everyone else says, and as an avid enjoyer of Robert Pattinson, I was not let down at all. He the bar was up here for him already, but as soon as I got out of that movie, I was like, wow, he blew my fucking expectations. He's absolutely amazing in this role, and I can't wait to see how we see more as time goes on, how his Bruce Wayne develops with also the Batman develops as well. So I loved it. I have been listening to the soundtrack nonstop whenever I'm in my car. I'm listening to the soundtrack. Even last night, I was just laying in bed in the dark, just listening to the soundtrack. I couldn't sleep. It was amazing. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Same thing as all you guys said for me. Absolute fire. Like literally, because I went and saw it with my son and we watched it, and the entire time I was just like, yo. And as Scott mentioned, the humor was fire. That shit was. There was just a couple things that are said, and we'll mention them as the show goes on. There's a line that Gordon says to Batman as they walk into that fucking the orphanage, and he's like, "No guns." He's like, "Yo, that's your thing, man." That shit was funny. That was a really fun. Like between those two characters, that was a funny line. And so, none of that humor felt forced. I thought the humor was great. The performance is obviously off the charts. Story and everything. And with that being said, let's get into the performances, man, because we had some well-known actors in this movie, obviously from different genres of film, but the performances, man. We'll start with you, Scott. And what'd you think, man? Performances.
I mean, this is why you stack a cast like this, because everyone had something to do, and not only that, this movie allowed different actors to bring different flavors to characters that we had never seen before. Like you were just talking about Jeffrey Wright. I love Jeffrey Wright. I mean, I loved Jeffrey Wright before I knew who Jeffrey Wright was. And then Westworld just made me adore him to no end as Bernard. But watching his Gordon, how he feels like a cop. And the fact that he had those cute little nicknames for Batman. He'd be like, listen, man. It's you felt
somebody mentioned that, and I didn't pay attention until today when I saw it for the third time. I was like, yo, he calls him man 7 times in a movie. It's great. It's fire. It's great.
Well, because there's that camaraderie. There's that camaraderie that's you got a Batman and Gordon that have been working together for 2 years, and as soon as the movie starts, you feel it. Like that first scene when they walk into the mayor's murder scene, it's like, oh no, these two have a history. And I love it. And then
that one is good.
I couldn't pull that bunch. I did. Another line I really laughed at. Zoe Kravitz was finally that was the word that hit my head, was finally, this is the closest Selena had gotten for me. This was Anne Hathaway in The Dark Knight Rises, and Zoe took it. Zoe was given the story and the writing to take it to the next level. I was like, yes, this is Selena the Selena that I see in year one that I really dig. And then lastly, because I know other people are going to talk about other people, my other big one was Paul Dano. I want to talk about how a guy could be creepier outside of that outfit. than he was inside that outfit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they slam his face into the diner counter and he turns around, that creepy ass smile he has on his face with those glasses, it was like, dude, you're sicker. You're sicker like with your face
Yeah.
than you are wearing that combat mask. And like, kudos to you. So I'm going to stop there because I know we're all going to be talking about different people. So, but I'm going to stop at those three because for me, those are my big three.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dave, what you think, man? Cat, the performances, what got you going?
I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like everyone had a moment to like make their character pop and like shine. You know what I mean? I guess some of the standouts would be definitely Zoe Kravitz. Like when I picture in my mind like Selena from a comic book, like that's what I picture.
Yeah.
Like just the way she walks and like the
Mhm.
confidence like she carries with herself, like, oh, I could take care of myself. And
Mhm.
like, I don't know, just the way she acted was just like, I thought she was spot on.
Yeah.
That and Penguin, like Colin Farrell's Penguin was just like, dude, was like, I thought he was like phenomenal. Like every time he was on in a scene, it's like I could only like look at him like in that scene. Like and one of the guys I was with, he had no idea. I told him, I was like, that's Colin Farrell, right? He was like, what? I was like, yeah, that's him under all that makeup and or whatever he had on. So I mean, those two stuck out for me, but I think everyone had a moment to shine. There was no bad acting in this movie.
No.
Phil, man, what you got?
I'm going to echo the sentiments of Scott and Dave with Zoe Kravitz. I thought she was absolutely phenomenal with everything that she did. She is easily my favorite Catwoman, and that's, that was a pretty high bar to take from Michelle Pfeiffer. No strike to Anne Hathaway because I thought she was great too. But Zoe Kravitz, like to Scott's point, is like looking at year one with the Long Halloween storyline and looking at it all brought to life in such a beautiful way. Another standout, I think, is John Turturro as Carmine Falcone. Oh my gosh. I've seen this man go in so many different directions in other movies. Like immediately I think of like the first Transformers movie where he's that one character who's, pretty animated. But this with Carmine Falcone, he's just so reserved, but you can just feel the power this man exudes with his performance. And again, to Scott's other point with the Riddler is my favorite Batman villain ever. So to see him get taken with a serious dark take for the first time in I don't know how long, it was really, to Amanda's point, refreshing. I really do like the way he is outside of the mask, even though the mask even gives that little twinge of just crazy lunacy. But just his performance was super standout to me. But ultimately, like Robert Pattinson just held this movie on his shoulders for the most part because he had to do it inside the Batman suit the majority of the movie, and that really struck a chord with me because of that factor. It is a straight up Batman movie. This is not you get half Bruce Wayne, half Batman. It is straight up a Batman tale, and he is a detective, and everything encompassing what Robert Pattinson did with Batman, and even Andy Serkis's Alfred, like their whole duology was just really pleasant in and of itself.
Yeah.
Oh man, I could go on and on, but I'm just gonna quiet down now.
Amanda, performances, like what stood out? Everybody?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard. I did like a tier list, and I'm like, what am I even doing? They're all so good. I'm like, they're all tied for first in this case, but Selena Kyle, Zoe Kravitz is fantastic. She's like, she walked out of the comics. My favorite portrayal of Catwoman. I was in awe of her. And I can't wait to see more. For me, John Turturro was completely brilliant as Carmine Falcone. After like watching it and sitting with it, that's all I've been talking about all weekend. Because I'm like, like if anyone knows me, I'm like a sucker for mob bosses and mafia movies, and he nailed it with the screen time that he had. Like he kept all of his secrets and he told his version of the truth, and he had this kind of like coldness, and he was reserved, but he was warm to like kind of manipulate people. And I just thought it was really well done. And Colin Farrell, amazing as the Penguin, is the right hand, and I really like that he was the right hand in this one, gives him the opportunity to grow. Robert Pattinson as the Batman, holy Lord, was he phenomenal. Like that scene with him and the Riddler, him banging on that mirror, like on that window, I was floored. The emotion coming through his eyes was really well done. But yeah, like everyone was golden. Riddler just messed me up in the head as he would usually do. So like that just he scared the shit out of me. But anyway, yeah, they're all great. But yeah, John Turturro really set in with the little screen time that he had for me.
Yes, yeah. Also, that scene when Batman is beating on the glass, I was in an IMAX theater, felt that shit in my bones.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
with every hit, dude. I was like, yo, let's go. Rapner, what you think, man? Performances, man. Who caught your eye?
I mean, I guess off top, everybody did an amazing job. Like one thing about Batman films or films that involve Batman, everybody brings their A game. Like if you look at any movie, everybody performs. So this was no different. So for me, I would have to say Paul Dano's Riddler was like, every time I'm just watching the movie and I'm like making disgusted face, like this motherfucker is sick. Because his voice is already so maniacal and strange, but it takes it to a different level when he starts to raise his voice and he starts kind of like yelling and it just maybe like whoa, is this a movie or like what's we doing here? So and he really added an element of horror because I'm a huge horror guy, so hearing people saying like, oh, the movie feels like a horror, a lot of times I see that I'm like, it's not really a horror just because somebody jumped or whatever, but he seriously brought the horror elements to this movie and I like appreciate that. And next, I guess I would say is easily Robert Pattinson, because it's crazy when you watch interviews, everybody is you can see their character in themselves. But Robert Pattinson's like this goofball, like doesn't take anything serious. So to see him flip the switch on and be so serious and so into being Batman in the movie, even with the lack of lines, sometimes he'll just turn and look. And you kind of understand what's going on just by seeing his face. And he's just amazing. Both of those two are like top for me, man. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Destiny, man, who did it for you?
Man, it's so hard to choose because like everyone's been saying, the entire cast is so amazing. But like everyone has been saying, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, she impressed me so much. I didn't realize what I'd been missing from a Catwoman performance before. Not that anyone else has been bad. Like we've had great Catwoman. I didn't realize till like this year. But there's just something about, like you said, the way she walks, the way she talks, the way she holds herself. It's just everything I've ever wanted in a performance with Catwoman. It was so amazing. And then, of course, Robert Pattinson. I love Robert Pattinson. But I was just holding him to such a high bar, and he just exceeded that bar, even with the way he looked around. He's just such a great actor. But even from the beginning of the movie, when there was the mayor's murder, and the way he looked at the kid, you could just see through his eyes what he communicated. I'm like, oh my God, he's so great in this movie. And I think my man. So excited. But my top three, I guess my third choice is so hard because I'm kind of in between Jim Gordon and Penguin because they're just so impressive. I keep on going back and forth on who's like really my number three, but I guess I'll just tie that. It's just so great. Honestly, again, the whole cast is amazing.
Nice. Joey.
Yeah, I think like the worst part about having a cast like this is that it's so hard to pick your favorites because everyone just crushed it. Zoe and Robert, like on their own, could have carried this movie. So like everything else, every other performance was like just more frosting on the cake almost. I figured I was gonna like Rob, and like he just exceeded every expectation. Zoe was great, like Scott said, she was ripped right out of the comics. Like I've never seen Selena be like that, that accurate before. And Jeffrey Wright was awesome. Paul Dano was like just so menacing, and like that diner scene when they finally get him and he turns around and he's just a dude. Like, and I know that's Riddler's whole shtick, but like he just turns around and they're like, looking in the eyes of the serial killer, he's like, it's just a guy.
But a terribly dweeby guy, by
the way. And we don't know if he ever got his pumpkin pie. So what's the real crime here? But I think the biggest thing, or one of the biggest performances, and Meg and Anthony will know because we say this all the time in our group chat. But Colin Farrell as the Penguin, his when I finally heard "Take It Easy, Sweetheart" in the movie, I was like,
dude, I could have just, I've been like, all right, movie's over. This was
yeah, I
great.
was like, good job, you did it. Good job,
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
He was great. He really got, lost in that role. Like there were so many times where I was looking at, I was like, that can't be, because they did so much work on him. I think like more than like almost anybody in the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was, and it probably helps that I've been watching The Sopranos a lot lately. So like that kind of just like, but
That's so you.
Oh yeah, I wanted to end it.
I love it.
Meg, what you think?
Basically everything that everyone else has already hit on. I think that if one person was casted differently in this film, it would have been like completely different. I feel like they all just meshed so well together that changing even one single character would have kind of thrown everything off. Like the cast, whoever did the casting for this movie, just fucking I'm not going to take my hat off, but hats off to you.
Yeah.
Because is amazing. Robert Pattinson is probably my favorite out of this whole film. Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano. I love how he like played on like, because you think about the character the Riddler, it's kind of like not cringy, but like it could go that route of cringe if someone were to play it like too campy, but he played into it so well that and I love how they changed like modernizing the character to make him like this internet live streamer who like has 500 followers, finds this community where unfortunately it like plays into like his psychoticness of like, all right, now I have this platform, now I'm gonna fuck everything up. So Paul Dano, amazing. It's crazy, like when they slam his head down on the counter, like the way his face is like trying to form the smile, it looked painful for him. I was like, oh my god, it was so unsettling. Yeah, no, I love Robert Pattinson, so he's probably my favorite performance out of the whole movie. The eye acting he does alone is just
we should do a counter of how many times Meg says I love Robert Pattinson tonight.
I
love him. I love him.
Should be little diamond. Should be little sparkly diamonds every time.
When Penguin said that's like the worst Spanish I ever heard, I fucking laughed so goddamn hard. Because like he's all like tied up and he's like looking at both of them like, you guys are fucking stupid.
My favorite one was the what is this, good cop, bad shit cop?
No habla español.
One problem, I ain't no rat. Oh
Yeah.
man, his line delivery was just beautiful. Or even
there was
like
only there was one spot in the movie where you could kind of tell it was Colin Farrell underneath like the makeup. It was like his head moved a certain way and you could kind of see that it was like, oh yeah, I can see it. But like the scene in the Iceberg Lounge where Batman like throws him up against the glass and like he like starts looking up and you like just see like a downward shot of his face and just how angular and evil his face looked. I was like, oh shit. It looked like an Alex Ross painting, to be honest.
Yeah. Now, as for me, everybody, fucking everything you guys have said all around actors' performances. Totoro, though, that scene with Bruce at the pool table and his little, like that particular scene, like it was. That's what I was like. Oh yes, this is John Turturro. You know what I'm saying? Like from anything else in the movie, that particular scene was just like, and he was straight, pretty much lying at the time, like trying to get Bruce to see, to feed into that stuff, and it was just great. Obviously, Colin Farrell, I don't even. It's crazy how many people have told me like, yo, if I didn't already know that was Colin Farrell, you couldn't believe that was Colin Farrell. Right. From how good he looked in that, and obviously, Robert killed that shit, killed it. Just he just destroyed that role, man. He killed it, man. And as much as you want, he was good as Bruce Wayne, better as Batman. I think as more movies come out, if we are so lucky, I think that you'll see more of him trying to, turn into the Bruce Wayne that we know. But as far as his interaction with Alfred, Andy Serkis too was fire. I thought this movie, and he had a pretty limited role. I would say as far as screen time goes. But that scene in the hospital at the end, I can't. Yeah, where he was able to like convey this emotion with also because it's crazy because Alfred wakes up from that trauma. And the first thing Bruce is like, "You lied to me, Alfred." I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, like, dang, bro, don't even let him come to his senses or anything.
I was saying the other night, I really wanted Alfred just to be like, "I'm going back to bed."
Just rolls back over,
I'm not dealing with you.
So I was I love that scene. Whoever did the cast, yes, they do because it's absolutely fabulous. I loved it a lot, and so going forward, I hope obviously there's some players that are still there. I like how Selena's just like, yo, I don't know, I might go to Bloodhaven. I was like, yeah.
I know. She name dropped Bloodhaven. I was like,
yeah.
Like, you don't name drop Bloodhaven without following up on it in some fashion or
yes.
another. I have to imagine.
Yeah. So we'll get to the story, man. Like as far as what Matt Reeves wrote and from start to finish, and we'll start. Destiny, what'd you think the story? Like how did that rock with you?
I really like the story. I was trying to follow. I gave myself like the test of following the mystery of everything, but I was just always 3 steps behind. I wasn't smart at all. I'm like, I'm just along for the ride. I don't know what's going on. I don't know Spanish, so obviously I wouldn't be able to figure that out either. But no, I really like the story, and the way it's told through this early Bruce Wayne, and I like that Gotham becomes a character in and of itself in this movie, and I feel like that's the kind of the first time that's really happened. At least, like the way I feel. I love the way Gotham is portrayed. Overall, I just really like that they show Bruce Wayne in an early perspective with the story, but a lot of the movie is actually with Batman. I wasn't until the end of the movie I didn't realize how little of Bruce Wayne we see, like how little of Robert Pattinson out of the cowl that we see. But I think that served the purpose of him kind of within the story realizing that he's kind of gone like lost in this Batman persona, and this persona of I'm vengeance, and realizing I'm going on a tangent, but realizing that maybe it's not vengeance that I should be the hope for Gotham. Oh man, I love that ending. But overall, I like the way the Riddler was leading to the mystery of Gotham and showing the corruption of within the mayor and the GCPD and the cops, like everything, and then how that related back to Bruce Wayne, not related back to the Batman in general, but also related back to Bruce Wayne and how it threatened his own life, and then how it connected to Catwoman. So I just thought it was a very intelligent like weaving of everything and how the story came together.
Yeah, I agree with you. Ratner, what you think, man? Story, how did it hit you?
Story-wise, again, I think this is the best story in a Batman solo movie, honestly. With it being the murder mystery aspect being like dead center in your face. I just think it's the best way to introduce a new Batman. From the dialogue choices, I mean, like from the narration, it opens up to Bruce, Thursday, October 31st, and just like from that point, starting with a narration and ending with a narration from where he was to where he is now, I just I really adore it. And one thing I really do like is how imperfect everything is. So it automatically brings a real world kind of sense to the Batman and grounds it in that nature, how nothing really works out the way it's supposed to. It all has it's just not perfect how we used to seeing in a lot of the Batman films. Like when he jumps off the top of the roof, he crashes. When he tries to get Selena to do investigation work, she's like, "Fuck that, I don't want to do it," and he's just kind of left with like, "Oh, okay, well that's not going to work." And it's just a lot of those, imperfections that ground it where it needs to be grounded, by still also keeping it fantastical. So the story to me is great. The script, the quotables, the way the comedy works in this, not too heavy-handed. I just think it flowed perfectly. Honestly, I don't really have an issue with anything. It just felt like literally the animated series, like a whole season, just as a movie. That's how it felt to me, and I can't ask for anything better than that.
Well said.
Yes, I feel you. Amanda, what you think? Story.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that was said. This was like a film noir first before it was a comic book movie. I love that Matt Reeves fused that together. I thought it made it really unique to the genre and to Batman himself. So I love the detective aspect. I thought they utilized it quite well, and that's where the story like really shines. Is when, as you know, with Gordon and Wayne, I thought that those were the strongest scenes, and then you have the Riddler kind of like a puppet master throughout, and then the twists that come with the Riddler, and then introducing like the Rogues Gallery. I thought it was really well done. It was very smart to like place these characters in certain moments with the Riddler kind of orchestrating it. So that really worked for it. Very easy to follow, I think. And it just worked because it was a detective film. It gave me like Seven vibes. I felt like I was watching like Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt trying to figure this all out, and it really worked for me. Everyone had great chemistry, but it felt intricate yet simple at the same time, and like the twists weren't like like it wasn't like, oh my god, that happens. Like, no, it's very subtle, and like that comes with the noir conventions, which I found like, again, it was really well done. And also for this one, I felt that the villains didn't overpower Batman. I feel like that happens in other films. Not shading anything, I'm just saying. I like that. This is the first time where I felt like everyone in Gotham, including Gotham as the character for Batman and Bruce Wayne, they all work together as like this well-oiled machine to make this story great and engaging to watch.
Yeah, same. Also, the beginning. Look, I'll just real quick before I get to Scott. The little thing at the beginning. Not it's after the Riddler, but the fact that like they show these several scenes with these dudes doing some criminal activity, and you don't know where Batman's going to show up, and he's just like first off, narration hit me with the Rorschach vibes instantly, and I was just like,
that's what I felt the same thing.
yeah. But that little piece at the beginning where you didn't know where is he going to show up on the subway train or at that dude robbing the store, like they all just the signal comes up, they look into the darkness and they just bail because it's just puts that amount of fear out to it. So that was something. But Scott, man, what you think about the story?
Honestly, Amanda and I are so simpatico at this point. I mean, because I watched the review too, and I was just like, "Oh, you speak to my heart." What got me really was when Reeves talked about really trying to bring in sort of a 70s crime drama feel to this movie. And then I watched this movie and I'm like, dude, hey, you understood the assignment. Because it was like, I get Godfather and Chinatown, but then also you get Zodiac and Seven, kind of like, like how you don't see Kevin Spacey until like almost the end of the movie. It was like, the Paul Dano reveal towards the end. And how, and I like what Amanda said, the twists were never overly twisty. It wasn't like, oh my God, where did that come from? Like it all just like it never tried to pretend it was trying to be smarter than what it was. It just let everything just kind of develop. And going back to the idea that, I mean, Batman may be, quote, the world's greatest detective, but it doesn't mean he doesn't screw the pooch every once in a while. And sometimes he thinks the Riddler's actually smarter. So he like overthinks things. And so when it played out, I loved that aspect. And the only time it felt a little weird, but I don't criticize it, I'm just going to say it felt weird, is when you get to the end of the movie and everything in Gotham Square Gardens, all that starts to feel like a comic book movie. Like Tim and I talked on our Squadcast review, like that felt like a level out of the Arkham games, versus the rest of the movie that really had that sort of dark, gritty, like I felt like I could have been watching Taxi Driver or Chinatown kind of vibes. But what I did like about it was how it established this immediately. Gotham is lived in. These characters are lived in. And so when we start talking about sequel potentials, I just love the fact that this city feels like stuff can be there because I don't, it's not a bridge too far. This story established all this crap has gone down and all this crap could exist in this movie. And also with the 3-hour runtime, how it just allowed the story to breathe. Like, I mean, this thing is like I mean, no pun intended. This thing's like a puzzle, and you feel like that. And on a second rewatch, which because I've seen it twice now, it all clicks. Like you realize watching it the second time how all the pieces, like, they're there the entire time. You just didn't know what it was until like an hour and a half later when you go, oh yeah, that thing and that thing. And you recognize it the second time around. And those are the best kind of mysteries to me, where you realize the pieces were there the entire time. You just didn't realize its significance until it all got put together. And then when you watch it again, you go, oh yeah, he didn't pull that out of his ass. That was no, it was there. It was established. And I think that's what makes it, chef's kiss when it comes to like the tightness of the story.
Nice. Dave, what'd you think, man? Story.
I thought it was great. I love how like detective driven like it was, like all the like him going around figuring out stuff, like solving these puzzles, like his little eye recorder contact he had, like and he could like rewind and stuff. I thought that was so dope. Have you guys ever played the Telltale Batman game?
Yep.
Have you ever played that? Like if you've played that, like this movie is like straight like that game. Like because in that game, the Riddler is kind of teasing with Bruce like the whole game because he finds out like his parents have this dirty history and like kind of exposes or whatever. It reminded me of that, which is a good thing because I love that game and this reminded me a lot of that. But I loved how much he was in the suit throughout the whole movie, which being a detective driven movie, like that makes sense that he would be in the suit most of the time. But yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a great story.
Phil, what's your thoughts?
I don't know what I can add that everyone else has already said, but I will just say that from one Batman fan who's read a plethora of different Batman stories, I can see very clearly where Matt Reeves cherry picked, very various different elements of various Batman stories. But it's also very interesting to me to see how he intertwined all of them into this grandiose detective story that takes place in a lived-in Gotham. And for me, the beautiful thing was like getting to see how intertwined all of these characters become as the story progresses. You got Batman and Gordon essentially being a Sherlock Holmes and a Watson throughout the entirety of this. Selena Kyle gets pulled into it through to her friend Annika, and then you've got the Penguin who's got some of this dirt on the mayor, and then that kind of leads into where the dirt is starting to come from because D.A. Coulson and Pete Savage are all intertwined with the renewal fund. It basically everything the way that Reeves constructed the story was just nothing short of beautiful to me, just as a Batman fan, to see, like the Long Halloween, to see Zero Year, to see elements of Year One, and to Dave's point, like seeing some Telltale stuff, like even the Riddler being kind of like a pseudo vigilante to some extent in what he was doing, but more so being a serial killer was kind of a Telltale pull, I think. And even just seeing all this stuff play out in the way that it was, you can just tell that this was written and crafted by somebody who has a deep admiration for the character of Batman. And I'm very, very curious to see where he takes all these characters, because at the beginning of the movie, you get the sense that Gotham is just not this place where people really enjoy living, but it is lived in. And by the end of the movie, it has completely become something else, because now martial law is enacted, the city is underwater, things are vastly changed, and it's going to take like, even as Batman said at the end of the movie, things are going to get better before it gets worse. And I think that that very much is the entirety of the story. Things got worse before it got ultimately better.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, as did we all. Joey, what'd you think, man? Story.
I thought it was really just well done. Like, going along with what Phil said, the way that Reeves was able to cherry pick like certain parts from different storylines, I think it helped the movie feel both familiar and different. Like, you could get those story beats, but like you didn't know exactly how they would fit in with each other. And then echoing what Dave said, like we've seen Batman like use his detective work in other live action movies before, but it's never been to this extent. And I love how much time they took with it, and like just showing us like the contacts, or just like him actually like going through the ciphers or whatever. And then of course, like, yeah, the flow of the movie was great. Like whether you're in the section where it's like dialogue heavy and like they're figuring out the riddles, or where it's action heavy. Like I think yesterday was my third viewing, and I like had to get up to go to the bathroom, but I was in a part where I was like, oh, wait, I don't want to miss this part. I can go to the next scene.
Yeah.
Oh, but wait, this is that scene. And it just like, it just gets to the point where it starts to get rolling, and it's just like, you don't want to miss what's going to happen next. So yeah, I thought the story was just really well done. And like Amanda said, refreshing. And yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. Meg?
I don't know what else I can really add.
She loves Robert Pattinson.
I love Robert Pattinson.
Everybody take a shot.
What I did really enjoy was at the beginning, the narration. That's my shit right there. I was like, yo, this starting out so good. And I like how they showed like the bat signal, I feel like was its own character. Like how the people of Gotham saw it and like they were afraid of it. I love the fear that he instills in criminals, and he's like, they don't know where the fuck he's going to show up. Yeah. And how the first time he emerges from the shadows, I was like, ooh.
The footsteps?
The footsteps, and how like he emerges and like you just see like the face and the bat logo. I was like, okay, this is good. No, I really enjoyed the story. I love seeing, Scott knows, I love seeing like the early days of Batman and Bruce Wayne. Some of my favorite comics are like before he even becomes Batman. So I'm really excited to see where they go with this. I'm really excited to see what they do with Catwoman. I feel like she definitely deserves like her own solo thing, because I fell in love with that character throughout the movie. Like her theme is like, you can feel the yearning of the character through her theme, and I'm just like, I just want you to be happy and successful, okay? No, yeah, same as everyone else. Yes. I loved it, dude. I'm so glad I saw it in IMAX for the first. Like my first viewing was in IMAX because the sound was insane. Whoever did like the sound crafting for this is just, oh my fucking, you did an amazing job. Because I saw it the second time and it wasn't IMAX. It was like I have like an IMAX ripoff, like a couple cities over, and it doesn't have as good sound. And when I was watching it, I was like, does this seem quiet? I was like, I don't know if I can even hear this. But yeah, no, sound was amazing. I just loved it so much.
Yeah, as for me, same thing. As we went around the horn, same things. I do. I especially loved, and I know a lot of people were giving it flack, was the third act of the movie, and I was just like, yo, like the third act to me. I mean, obviously you had like the action right at the beginning. I thought the third act was all about showing Batman saving people from Gotham, and that shit was absolutely incredible, dude. Like when he was in the wall after he cuts the electricity so people don't get electrocuted down there in the stadium or whatever. Then he goes and he saves. Obviously, the mayor was kind of reluctant to take his hand and be helped. But I thought that for me, that made the third act fire for me, was just him saving him. And then you see the National Guard gets there and they're picking up people and putting them on the stretchers, and the girl didn't want to let him go. She was just like, no, man. I was just like, yo, this is incredible. And so I don't understand the hate the third act was getting initially, but
and that feels like Darwin Cook's The New Frontier, like when he tries to save the kid from the cult and the kid like runs away from him. So towards the end, when Superman sees he's got Robin, and I always love that great line from Darwin Cook where he talks about how he changed his costume, and his line is, "I didn't get into this to scare kids." And I loved that, and so that was all I thought about, because if you think about it, the movie starts off with that scene at the subway, and that guy that he rescues is like, "Don't hurt me."
Yeah, he's just looking at him like, "Bro, I'm not." But
right. But then by the end, he's like saving people out of the flood. The mayor's son is like, he's the first one to even hold his hand out and be like, "Yeah, I got you," right? And then at the end of the movie, he like, there's someone clinging to Batman, like, "No, please, like, stay with me." And it's like that brought a genuine tear to my eye when Batman is down there in the water, pulls the flare out, and just gets all these people to safety and then promptly saves these. Like it was just beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
what
got
else to
emotional
say,
on
but
that part too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost, it's
Yeah.
also some of the,
Seeing him carry that kid, I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Well, it was almost like a baptism in a way. Like he goes in the water and then like emerges like
Yeah.
a different hero almost.
Mhm.
I thought that was really well done.
because
Yeah.
he had
Definitely got
just
some
finished-
Moses vibes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
From the end of
Oh,
them, like
yeah.
leading
Yeah.
the people to safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had just finished almost killing a dude.
Dude.
When he took that venom,
Yeah.
or whatever he took.
Okay, yeah. Speaking on that,
Yeah.
I tweeted that the other day, and somebody was saying it was adrenaline. And to Scott's point, he says this world feels like really lived in. Like,
Mhm.
is that not venom? Like somebody said it was adrenaline.
I think it is.
I
I'm like-
that was my initial thought because it was green.
Yes,
Yeah.
because of the
And-
color.
And
glowing
also
green at that.
Yeah.
And also he shot it into his leg. I feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
adrenaline, you go like
Into your
Yes,
heart.
it-
you go
Usually in the heart.
here.
Yeah.
Because like when I think of adrenaline, I think of that shot from Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction, yes.
Yes,
thank
Yeah.
you.
we all
So, yeah.
And then like
When-
Reeves, he put so much like direction on it. Like he doesn't just
He
you
made
know,
a lot of emphasis on the fact that
Yeah,
vial was
like you see
green
him
and
pull
And
out
then
his
his
leg.
face, dude.
Yeah.
His
Oh, and he
face.
like
Yeah.
went into
Yeah.
a rage
Yeah.
fit.
Mhm.
I think his eyes rolled like in the back of his head and everything.
Yeah.
he's just like, yo. And then go.
Okay, I just had to make sure I wasn't crazy because somebody was
No,
I did the same thing.
And I'm
Like,
like-
am I crazy with this
I thought
venom?
of it.
You know?
No,
like since when has
when I-
adrenaline been the color of Mountain Dew? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
I didn't even think of it, and I was watching with my son, and as soon as it happened, he was like, "Is that the stuff that Bane uses?" And I was like, "Whoa!" You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
shit, yeah." I was like, "Yo, that's quite the observant right there."
Quite the color choice
Yeah.
Yes,
for that
it
vial,
is,
right?
it
Like I
is,
did the
it is.
same. I did the same kind of thing because my friend who I saw it with today, Terrence, he's a huge comic book fan, just like I am. And when that scene was getting ready to happen, I leaned in. I was like, pay very close attention to what he's about to do, right? And then when it happened, he looked at me and he goes, "Was that venom?" And I was like,
okay,
maybe. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? So I just got a couple more points to hit, and then I'm gonna let everybody just go off about how much you love this movie. Like, anything we missed as far as the points I wanted to hit on throughout this. I thought about that. I was like, it'd be cool to everybody just geek out about the movie for just a little bit after we get through. So also want to know what you guys thought about the chemistry between Batman and Catwoman, between Bruce and Selena. We'll start with you, Scott. What you think, man?
I need a minute.
Yeah.
I need some privacy. I don't know if I feel comfortable. Like, I don't know all of you as well as others. I don't know if I can have this conversation.
I was gonna say Scott's in the theater like
Yeah.
Oh, I'm having the vapors.
Scott just lights up a cigarette after
Yeah.
the movie. Like,
That pretty much sums it up. That's was that good for you? Those are my thoughts, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, Dave, what you think, Dave?
I can't.
Scott.
Can't
Anytime,
stop thinking
any-
about the cigarette now.
anytime Scott, from now on, when you call us delinquents, I'm gonna pull up this.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
yeah, I mean, I thought it was great. They had great chemistry. I mean, they bounced off each other like so. I don't know, just like so well, like how you would imagine Batman and Catwoman, especially meeting for the first time, like how you would think
Yeah.
they bounced off it. Like they had a good way of like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like she was very like independent and strong, but she wasn't like, get off me, you're a jerk. Like don't help me out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they had a good balance of that
Mhm.
between each other. So I mean, it was perfect chemistry. I don't-
Yeah. Also, the fight when they first met was
Yeah, right.
Unforgettable.
Dude, the
Yeah,
way
it's
that
fine.
she sinks into his arms when he's trying. Oh my god.
you beat me to
I
it.
didn't see
I
that
actually,
part.
I was literally gonna
I
talk
put
about
my hand on my chest, like.
I know, I was
like,
You see her just like relax and like even her eyes, she like kind of like lowers her eyes. I was like, okay.
And then the score starts playing at that,
Yes.
Yeah.
feel this.
and it's just like,
Meg,
This
Meg's
is
like,
sexy as hell.
It should have been me.
Yeah, I was like, it's okay, it's not me, but it's
Congrats,
cool.
Zoe, I guess. Good
Yeah,
job.
congrats,
Yeah.
whatever.
should have been Batman in that one.
Phil, man. What'd you think about him, man?
Oh, I love that whole relationship from the time that they meet in the Iceberg Lounge, even when Batman sets his eyes on her, he's like, "You're somebody I want to talk to."
Yeah.
And throughout the course of them like progressing that relationship, it was really that it really does invoke that back and forth that they've had, because it's such a, again, like it's a back and forth of like, I want to be with you, I want to help you, but we're on two separate sides here, and we need to still keep that as it is. Or like even just having Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman just be, you know, wanting her own sense of vengeance and having her own way of doing it, but then also realizing that Batman's way, or the way that Batman is trying to be like, you know, I want to help you, but you can't go about it the way that you're going about it, because if you cross that line, you become just like them. And it takes her a minute to kind of see that, even though what she goes through and what Bruce goes throughout the entirety of the movie, it's a little parallel in some regard, but I really love their whole relationship. I don't know what else I could add to it.
Yeah, nice. Amanda, what you think?
They're so hot. And I gotta say it. Like, they're just, I don't know, man. Like, I just sat there. I'm like, I need them like 24/7. Like, I could have watched 3 hours of just the two of them. But on a serious note, I love that they were equals in this. I love that they were actually working together. I love that they respected each other. They were also very playful with each other, which I loved. But this is probably the best version of the Bat and the Cat that we've gotten, I guess, or like that we're going to get.
I didn't want to say it.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that this is better than I get slack all the time. I'd like Batman Forever. Everyone hates me for saying that. So anyway, you know, yeah, see, okay, good. I'm not the only one, but yeah, they worked really well together. I want to see more, but they're just the chemistry is just off the charts. They both went to the Oscar Isaac School of chemistry. I'm gonna keep it PG, but yeah, like that's what it was. But like, damn, I just can't wait for them again.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to World's Finest. Rap Nerd, what'd you think, man, about the Bat and the Cat?
Just want to tell Amanda, you're not the only one who loves Batman Forever. I love it too.
There, thank you.
It's awesome.
I mean, honestly, everyone has said everything that I can possibly say. Like, I think that they were, you know, like she said, they were hot. Like, honestly, when I see Batman and Catwoman together,
they were not bad people to look at.
No,
exactly. Like, and it just makes sense. And like Meg was talking about, when they, you know, when she sunk into him, and then the score starts. From that moment, it's just like, okay, I know where this is. I know where this is headed. And again, from, you know, they balance the sexiness with the partnership, and even just being their own people. Again, like Batman kind of convinced her to be a spy for him, and then she kind of was just like, no, I don't want to do that. And I think for him, that said a lot, you know, about her character and where she stands. So you always see that back and forth between the two, trying to see where someone stands. And even when Catwoman called him out, you know, about, I think she said something like, "You must be a rich guy to think like this, because everyone doesn't have." I forgot how the line went, but she just called him out for, you know, his stance. And I just like that she was willing to do that, and it just wasn't one way or another. So I just think it was like the perfect depiction of those two on camera. I can't really say anything else.
Destiny, what you think?
Man, I don't even know what to say because everyone's already said everything. But like, man, I love them. You know what? I think Bruce is a better person than me, because if I had Zoe Selena looking at me, Gotham is in the window. Like,
Yeah.
For real.
I'm going.
For real.
She's going.
Bruce is so strong. I have to congratulate him. But I really love their rapport, man. I really love, like, their chemistry is just off the charts. I just cannot like believe what I was seeing on my screen. It would just, you know, man, I don't even know what to say, but I just really love the way they interacted with each other. Like, this is just a comic book come to life in front of my eyes. It was making me so happy to watch.
Nice. Joey, what'd you think, man?
Yeah, the chemistry between them was just so,
He was like,
so genuine, and like the scene where he's about to send her into the iceberg lounge, and he's like, you know, having her put the contacts in and everything. He leans in. I was like,
he's like, look at me.
Yeah, he's like, look at me, and I'm like, oh my god.
looks good, and then
Yeah.
just
It like
pops-
looks good.
Oh,
But no, it was, they pulled that off really well. They had to convince us that there was that, extreme tension between them, and
Yeah.
and like, you buy it every time.
Mhm.
And yeah, like Destiny said, I don't know how he was like, nah, I'm gonna go with Gotham.
I know. When she looked him in the eyes when he said that, I would have been like, that would have been the moment I quit being Batman.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Gotham ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
She put her hand on his chin. I'm like,
Yep. That final shot when he's like, just going the other way, you would have seen me like, actually.
he was thinking about it though.
Yep.
Yeah,
he was.
yeah. Meg, do I even have to ask?
It's just I can't even.
Let's
It's
fan
just
Meg.
so sexy. It's so sexy. Like even when they're just even when they're interacting just through the earpiece and like the contact lenses, like you
Mhm.
can feel like the chemistry there. And like the funeral scene I think is a good one where he thinks that's Selena, so he's like, yo, what the fuck? So he like storms up there, and then that chick turns around and it's not her, and he's like, oh, okay.
He's about to be like,
Not
so we're
her.
over now?
Yeah, exactly.
Best fake out ever.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
only help on the
Literal
fact
set
that
photos
Reeves
of her in
actually
that-
shot,
all of
you
us.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so he's
Yes.
not there because we saw the
Yes.
photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Highway robbery.
Yeah.
But no, I just love how like you could tell like when there were scenes with her, like when he thought that like her and Falcone had like a thing or whatever, you could sense his like jealousy in a way, and I was
Mhm.
like, yo, I feel that, because same with you guys. If I was Batman, I'd be like, fuck Gotham. We're going to Bloodhaven? Okay, let's go.
Right?
My bags are
probably
Gotham's
packed.
gonna take care of itself.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah. You guys have said it all. You know what I'm saying? And I also like it's just a couple little things. When they get back to her apartment, and she realizes, what's the girl's name? Her
Annika.
Annika's
Annika.
gone. They've taken her. And when he's like, obviously Batman's slick as fuck, then looked at the little bill, seen her name on it and shit. And he's just like, Selena. She looks at him like, you mother, you know what I'm saying? Like, she gives him a look like, oh, for real? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, plus what happened in my apartment earlier tonight. Chill. No, I thought they worked very, very well together. And that's obvious in just the interviews with the actors as they're doing this press tour for this movie, how much chemistry that they actually have. So now I loved it, every single bit of it. And obviously I don't think there's going to be a sequel without her returning from Bloodhaven or wherever she decided to go when they left. But yeah, you can obviously tell. And
I was gonna say from the I think it was Entertainment Weekly or whatever, those posters of the two of them. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, bro,
They dropped that at the right time.
I was like, I'm so sorry, Channing Tatum,
Yeah, what
that
up,
you
Channing?
have
Yo,
to
what's good, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what's
deal with this. And Suki Waterhouse, I think, is his girlfriend.
Yes.
So.
yeah. Channing went up to Robert after he was like, good job, good man.
Yeah, man. It was like,
Is this
So I got
movie
a
over
question
yet?
for-
Or we
Yeah,
done?
let's go home.
yeah.
I have a question for everyone on the panel.
Go ahead.
Because there's a lot of Batcat in this movie, so I'm curious, what was everyone's favorite Batcat moment?
My favorite's the rooftop scene where they kiss for the first time, because like he's
Oh, is
just
that-
giving her shit, kind of like saying
oh yeah,
That's
mad
mine.
he's
Right.
like, you get what
'cause
your
that's-
actions have consequences, and they
Yeah.
get all into it, and then
she's like,
And
"He's
that's
my
the reveal where
father."
she tells him
Yeah.
that's right, that
Yeah.
Falcone's
I
her
love
father.
that one.
Yeah,
Love that
I-
scene.
That was
I'd
a very
say-
good scene.
Because Batman's entire fucking persona, just as soon as she said, because he's my father, he was like, oh damn. I
yeah.
just spent the last 10 seconds smashing on you. Like and now like, oh damn, now I see it. And then once she explains it, like the way he let her go, social services came and got her and he didn't do
Yeah.
anything. She's like, he owes me that money. And
Yeah.
that's legit for real. I would agree with that 1000%.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd say, and also their initial fight while she's cracking that safe was pretty fine. I
Yeah.
thought the choreography for that was put together really
It was
well.
almost like silent, like they're
Mhm.
Yeah,
very,
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
very technical
Mhm.
about their moves.
Mhm.
I'd say my favorite was probably the that final bike ride through the cemetery
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
Mostly because it just like it felt like a good it symbolized like that how they'd both been on like the same path for a while,
Mhm.
and then at one point or another, like through everything, they're going to have to go their own ways at
Yeah.
one point. And also, for a funny side, I love that scene because that's the scene where the stunt guy wipes out on the bike. And so every time I watch that, I'm like,
That's right.
here it comes.
Yo, bro, he's just like the stunt dude going slow. He just maxed.
We're gonna see
Yeah.
Batman fall off the bike.
Oh, that was funny. Oh,
Poor
man.
guy.
Like, Selena, later.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself, Crash.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anybody
Yeah,
else
I like
got-
them riding the bikes through Gotham at night and then do that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, I loved it. Like, and it's I don't know. There's something like relieving about like when you have a character like Batman in a movie and he meets someone that's kind of like his equal. Like, you don't have to worry about Batman taking care of that person. Like,
Yeah.
she can take care of herself. I don't know. They just seem really equal at that point,
Yeah.
which I liked a lot.
I just really love the scene in the 44 Below when he's like in her ear and
Yeah.
watching through the contact lenses, and she's like, "Don't make me look at these dumb fucks." And he's like, "I need IDs." You know, that one kind of had like almost like a His Girl Friday kind of feel, like that. She's like, "Oh, don't make me do this."
Yeah.
Okay. And he's like all business, like he is ID. He's like, "I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You're gonna look. I need those IDs.
Yeah.
And you're gonna do it." And she's like, "Okay." He's gonna come and talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When she looked at but she's like, he said, "Look back again." And she's like, "If I do,
He'll talk
it's
to
gonna
me.
be And she does it. And he's and here he comes. He's like, "Talk to him." I was like,
Yeah.
got some
And then
good info out of him.
And then she has like two different conversations with both of them because he's like, he's drunk or whatever, and she's like,
No, he's high.
shit."
He's high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, "Huh, no shit."
Yeah, that was. Anybody else got some favorite moments from it?
I would say like the ending with the whole ending scene with them, because mostly when they're riding their bikes off in different directions now, I just really love that he looks in his window to see her. I don't know, I just love that small moment. I'm like, oh, there's just something about Selena that he'll just never forget. I just love that with that one look that's communicated.
Yeah.
Speaking of that shot, like that reminded me of Chinatown because I rewatched it beforehand over at the Suit Up Geeks. We did like versus Zodiac and all that stuff. But I think the camera work is just really impressive because it felt like you were with Batman. You felt like you were in the cowl. You felt like you were like sitting on the Batmobile with him. Like those are all really important. And it did remind me of the Telltale game because of that, because you're just completely in it with him. And it's like, that for me was like, that's for the fans. It's like for everyone who wants to be Batman, like that's just right there with them. And this is the first time that I felt that in the Batman movie. So damn, this camera work, Greg Fraser, Matt Reeves, fam, like doing that and like being so like detailed with that for Batman. Like even when he's like looking through the binoculars and it's very objective and he's watching everybody, like those shots through those lenses just made it so much better. And like you connect with him on a different level as Batman instead of Bruce Wayne. So yeah, I just wanted to touch upon that too.
Yo, Amanda must have read the notes because that just perfect segue. Cinematography. Yo, these two technical aspects of the movie. Look, I'll go real quick. Fire all around. Obviously, we heard a lot of the score before the movie came out, and it's whenever his theme comes, it's so perfect. Batman's theme is so perfect every time it happens. They slow it down, they speed it up. It's when he comes in through the skylight of that stadium at the end of that movie, and they bring that in. I was just like, you know how much better could they do? That was fire. Obviously, cinematography, just like Amanda was saying. There's so many shots. The chase scene between him and the Penguin. It's always like cameras mounted like right here, like you know what I'm saying, like right on the
like
driver's side door. Just mounted in perfect spaces, so you see this point of view from that chase that is just absolutely incredible. And you know, so I chef's kiss to all of that right there. And I'll ask you, Meg, what you think cinematography and the score?
Obviously, I love Greg Fraser. it was just every shot felt like it had a purpose. I feel like similar to like BVS, you could like pause this movie at any moment and it would look like art.
Yes.
Yeah.
The score, I didn't listen to the full score until I saw the movie because I didn't want to have like certain like pieces of the music heard before I saw the scene they went with. The three themes that came out beforehand I did listen to, and the Batman theme is just I wasn't 100% sold on like the softer moments in the theme until I saw the movie. But when it goes like the dun 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 dun, I'm like, yo, oh my god. And I think Raining Vengeance is my favorite track from the score. I love because you hear like the Batmobile in it. It's so good.
Yeah,
I love the score.
Joey, what'd you think, man?
Yeah, going off actually Raining Vengeance, I we had it's pretty rainy weather yesterday here, so I was just driving around just like listening to that.
Speeding through oncoming traffic and shit.
Driving through fucking cars.
Yeah, I was like Saturday, March 5th, and it was just like but yeah, I was like Meg. I didn't listen to the score besides like those. I think they released like 3 tracks before the movie came out, but I just wanted it to like, I wanted to experience that for the first time in the movie, and I think it hits a lot harder now that I have. Like I'm, kind of transported back into those scenes when I listen to it. So I love the score. I thought it was really well done. I love all the like the pun names for the names of the songs and all that. And then cinematography, I don't think we've ever seen Gotham in live action look like this before. Like it just looked incredible. And like, you had like 2 or 3 like rear view mirror shots. One was like, the Batmobile, and then the other was him looking at, Selena driving away. And like those were just like really interesting ways, because like, an easy way for like especially the Batmobile scene, you could have just shown that like right from the point of view, just like right behind him. But you show it in the rear view to put yourself in like Penguin shoes a little bit. It was like, oh fuck, like this is right behind me still. But no, I thought those were both just like really strong. Yeah,
nice. Amanda, you've talked about the cinematography. What you think about the score? Like, what did it do?
It's not like, man, I don't know. Everything's just so good. It's like the score is phenomenal. Like I've been listening to it since I watched it on Thursday. Really, I usually listen to scores when I work anyway, so this is just like tacked on to the rotation. Michael Giacchino is fantastic. Ever since I watched Up, I'm like, this guy's gonna be something special, and now he did this. And I think he should get nominated for the score event, like if they do it next year, and like if he makes the cut basically. But this score's really, really good, and it hits every like watching it in the movie and then listening to it, like it'll really connect, and you remember every single scene quite like vividly when you're listening to it. And I think that's really impressive. And the score tells a story on its own, on top of the story that's there. So I thought that was really special.
Nice. Rap Nerd, what you think, man?
Oh boy, I have a lot to say. Oh my god. First, I'm gonna start with cinematography. I just think this is the most beautiful Batman solo movie ever. And it just shows you the kind of director Matt Reeves is, the detail that goes into these shots, from the framing, from the blocking, from the paintbrush of color over one frame, to his use of the depth of field. Like it's just everything. Just the cinematography makes this whole experience so visceral. Like for instance, like with the depth of field, like when the Riddler is in Coulson's car, and before you even see Coulson, you see Coulson from.
Oh, he's frozen a little bit.
Yep.
Mr. Freeze got him.
But like when like he hits Coulson over the head with that object, and the whole screen just blurs out. You still see what he's doing, but you can't at the same time. It just gives your mind like the imagination to see like what's going on here.
Oh, that shit was fire. I do remember that.
And like stuff like that sticks out to me a lot. Just the small details to amplify what you're seeing. The use of slow motion when it's necessary. Just, frame for frame, like Meg said, like it's like you can stop, you can pause this thing and just put it on the wall, like point me period. So I love the cinematography. The score to me was fantastic. It brought me back to the animated series, the big band, feel. It was a character on its own. When he was announced to do, Michael was announced to do the score. The first thing I thought about was The Incredibles, because I was like, this route. And I was like, he's gonna go this route. He's gonna go for that classic feeling. There's like one track on the Incredibles 2 album. I think it's called where Miss Incredible saves the mayor, and it's just like this big band just building, and like there's so many scenes that like the opening sequence when he's doing the narration and you hear them little strings coming in like.
Scott's got it.
And
of course, Scott has it.
It just makes like, so much of a difference. Like, and then
Hey, Lion. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, so I mean, I just love that vintage feel because he's kind of like he took something that's real old world like and brought it into today's, modern day time to make it more intense and more immersive. And I think that's it just. I get goosebumps just thinking about how great the score is. So, like without rambling too long, I think every note of his music just works like in the cop scene when it's these little beats that just keep happening. Doom, 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 doom.
Oh yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. And it just keeps building and building and building, and then he hits the cop and speeds up as he's running. Like it's fantastic, man. Honestly, like so. Those two factors just made this movie awesome for me because I look out for that when it comes to film. So I adored it.
Nice. Destiny, what'd you think? Cinematography, score?
Man, what everyone's been saying, it's just both of them phenomenal. And I'm just so happy that everyone, from what I've been noticing, has been talking about this as well. But I think with the cinematography, it's so interesting that it's just, to me, it's so beautiful, but it's for a gritty, dark place like Gotham.
Yeah.
And like you said, I really noticed like those small details of like when he took the venom or adrenaline, whatever people want to say, like when everything gets blurry and then you see everything is out of focus, that goes with the sound as well. And then the score, I don't listen to like I think Meg said, I don't listen to scores or soundtracks before the movie just because I want to immerse myself and like see where that music goes. So when I was watching the movie, I think watching it really made me appreciate the Batman score, like his main theme, a lot more. Because I really liked it when it first came out, but I really didn't appreciate the softer tones of the music. I just went right for the epic, like big band orchestra sound at the end. But man, there's just something about the Batman theme. It like makes you want to cry almost because it's like this hopeful, slow sounds. And it's just so amazing. The Catwoman theme is so on point with the femme fatale, neo-noir film, detective vibe. I just think both the cinematography and the music is just so on point with the Batman and how it matches and meshes so well. It's just perfect.
Nice. Phil, what'd you think, man?
Well, first off, Scott's not the only one who listened to the soundtrack before the movie came out. I absolutely did that. It was fantastic. Second of all, if I had to think about one scene that really captures the cinematography and the score all in one, and to Rap Nerd's point, done. It's the scene where Gordon and Batman, they just had it out with a lot of the GCPD. They're trying to wake him up, and they almost try to unmask him, and they're basically trying to get Batman out of the GCPD. It's the scene where you think, what was his name? Mackenzie's moonlighting for the Penguin, like, and then Batman punches Gordon. Like the whole build up to that and that whole sequence, the way that it was shot, the way that it's lit, to me feels like a perfect encompass of just how this movie is as a whole. That's one of the many shots I think that really defines just how beautiful this film is. On top of just to Meg's point, any frame in this film, you could literally stop it and turn it into a piece of art. It's just that good, and that's a sentiment to I think Greg Fraser as a cinematographer, and of course Michael Giacchino as a composer. Just just to Scott's point, they understood the homework assignment. They knew what they needed to do.
All right, Scott, man, your thoughts, man.
Okay, so everything everyone else has said, of course. I also loved Greg Fraser's use of like whenever there was like this group shot. Did anyone else notice that like there'd be focus on like the person in the center?
Yes.
Everything else was kind of like this dreamy fuzziness around them.
Yes.
And it was just such a interesting. Like it took me the first few was like, is my projector out of focus?
Yeah.
Or is
Yeah,
it
yeah,
a choice. And then I realized, ooh, it's a choice. And I love that because it'd be like this haze. It would almost be like Bruce is watching, and it's like he's out of focus, like he can't see straight. I love that. I felt like one of the major scenes, the Batmobile chase for me is that perfect marriage of cinematography and score, because Highway to the Anger Zone is one of, if not my favorite track on that score. Shout out to Michael Giacchino, but the fact that I didn't realize that he loved to do puns for track titles, and I love it. So they don't give spoilers. And then that scene felt like the marriage. Like I've never seen a Batmobile chase shot that way. I don't think I've ever seen a car chase shot that way before. And at first I was almost disappointed in the fact that I never got like those wide shots where I could see the cars all weaving. But then there was a part of me that was like, God, no, this is like I'm like gritting my teeth through this thing because it's so close quarters. Because we're having a car chase through traffic. You know, we're in a major metropolitan city, and for some reason the streets aren't empty. Thank you.
Yes, and also it's raining.
And it's raining. You know,
I got huge.
And
I
he
got
dropped the
huge.
opposite way at one point, which is crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was dope.
What were you about to say, Joey?
I was saying I got huge prisoners vibes. Off that scene, like that final scene where he's weaving in and out through traffic. I thought, that was good.
And the other one that I really loved was the whole thing at the Iceberg Lounge where, you know, Batman's taking out the goons and Selina's trying to kill Falcone because there was two different things that struck me cinematography wise in that. One is, and I've talked about before, it's like every time I interview, I have to talk about Batman walking down the hall where the only thing providing lighting is the muzzle flare from their rifles as he just beats the absolute crap out of them. And it's like a monster walking down the hall that you only see when they shoot at it and miss, or they hit him and he's got the freaking body armor, and it's just like bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
But the other one that got me was when Selina's like walking through Falcone's office, apartment, whatever you want to call that thing he had at the top of the lounge, and the way that, you know, the lights would kind of flash by like the L trains going by. I totally got Blade Runner vibes off of that. Because that whole apartment almost feels like Tyrell's office from Blade Runner, like or you know, when Deckard gives the Voight comps to Rachel for the first time, and I'm just like, I'm digging all of this. Like, that was an action scene, but with the lighting, I was like, where's like my sexy solo saxophone playing right now? Because I need it right now.
All right, Dave, man, what'd you think, man? Cinematography and the score.
Score I thought was great. I loved all of it, especially Batman's theme. Cinematography was like, man, I'm kind of like rap nerd on this. Like I don't know, like when a movie is like visually good looking to me, it's like, I don't know, I feel like I could kind of relax and just enjoy the movie because a lot of times when it's like you can tell a scene isn't well lit or like it doesn't look like they put much effort into it, like it takes me out of the movie. So I'm like, why does this look so bad? But
it's like distracting.
It's distracting.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just like Greg and Matt, like you can tell they took this so serious, like the way they shot this movie. Like they put so much effort into it. Like even just the scene of like when Selina's opening up the safe and you can like see the light on her eye. It's like you know how long it takes to set up a shot like that, and the fact that they did something like that just for that shot to look that good, it's just like it's incredible.
Yeah. It's fire. All right, so now's the time, yo. I'm gonna start with Amanda. Geek out right now. Tell anything we didn't talk about with this movie, just go off right now.
Oh my goodness. Jesus. You know what? I'm gonna bring up the Joker. I'm gonna bring up the Joker.
Oh,
'cause-
okay.
Please do.
Yeah, because like I love Barry Keoghan. Ever since I watched him in Killing of a Sacred Deer, I said this kid needs to do more. I don't care what he's in, I need to watch him. But I didn't realize how much of his how distinct his voice was to me until I just heard it through that prison cell, because I was like, damn, that's Barry. And then obviously the rumors that went around, no one got it spoiled, but it went around, so you have it in the back of your head that that's what it is. But I sat up in my seat. I was sitting there like, we're gonna get him as the Joker, and I was just like so excited. But just listening to him again, it reminded me of the Telltale series and the role that he's going to play, the characterization that he's going to do, and just having him speak to the Riddler through the cell walls, not even mentioning who he is, but just like saying dropping the clown as a word, dropping like Gotham being corrupt and all of that, and that he wants to be friends with the Riddler, like just that scene alone, and hearing Barry Keoghan for the first time, I was floored. I didn't expect it to hit, and I think it's like perfect casting for that characterization. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. He just blew me away with like 5 seconds. So.
Raptor, go off, man. What's something we didn't talk about, or do you just want to reiterate on something? Or
Okay. Not gonna lie, going into this movie, right? One of the key things for me was, what's the action gonna be like? Because with the Dark Knight movies, I love them, but I have to be real. The action, the combat in those movies are not the greatest for me. So
doesn't hold up well, no.
At all. And I get Batman as a detective and all this, but I'm like, we want to see Batman kick ass, honestly. Like we want to see that, right? So I was very, very like on the edge, like, is this gonna be good? Like, oh man, is this gonna be good? And my prayers were answered. Oh my God. Like just the way that everything, for one, when it comes to action scenes, that's another, I'm a stickler for that myself. You have to frame the fights right. Like we need to see what's happening. Like when a punch is thrown, we need to see it connect. We need to see where a kick is getting thrown. We need to see how somebody's getting, shoulder tossed, and everything here. You see it. They don't hide it. Like when he goes into the club and he's just, beating the shit out of everybody. He even picks up a bat, which I thought is a funny little pun. Him Batman swinging a bat. That was pretty cool. And
they don't call you Batman for nothing.
That was a nice thing to add in there. And just as he shoots his grappling, pulls the guy, and you just see him utilize everything. And I guess the amalgamation of it was that third act when he's in the rafters. It's just like some of the best Batman shit that I've seen, man. Like, jumping over the rail to kick a guy, and then he Sparta kicks a dude off the roof. And, I'm just like, he pulls 2 grappling guns out, shoots him in 2 dudes' legs, and does a backflip off the top.
The rail,
like,
dude,
that was
so cool.
I loved it when he uses himself as like a bowling ball. It's like he uses the forward momentum to just roll over a couple more guys.
Like he just drops, like the roof just blows up, and he just drops down and goes straight to work.
Shit
It's
was
not
so
even like
fucking beautiful, dude.
Like drops down, does a Street Fighter sweep kick, and then just goes on a tirade of like combos and fury. Like the action just, it did what it needed to do, and I appreciated it so much being an action fan, and that just really made me geek out, honestly.
Nice. Destiny, go off. What you got?
Oh man. Well, I did want to talk about the first scene where we see Riddler for the first time, because I feel like I was so tense for the first 30 minutes because how dark everything was. And the way he was introduced, and I was just really, I think I was paying attention so much to what was on the news because I thought I was going to be a clue to something. I'm like, let me listen, let me make sure that I'm paying attention to what's going on because I feel like there's going to be context. But when the guy walks out of frame and you see the Riddler and the lights like kind of come on so you see him a bit more, I was so scared. I was so scared, and I was just waiting and waiting and waiting. When is he gonna move? When is he gonna move? And it made me so afraid because part of the scene he's out of frame, so I'm just wondering, okay, it's gonna hit him over the head. What's gonna happen? I have no clue. That was like, I was just so on edge of my seat, so tense. Man,
there
that was
a
great.
Whoa.
Yes. So
I'm scared now. I'm not sleeping tonight. That's great.
Yeah.
The worst was that the way Batman was, well, it was a great introduction scene for Batman as well. But I was also scared with Batman because with the way the criminals were, looking in the shadows, like I think someone said, I'm getting scared of Batman because I don't know when you're gonna step on the shadows.
Yeah.
So I just love how the atmosphere of both characters and of Gotham was just established so quickly in the first 30, 20 minutes. And I guess another scene I think I want to talk about kind of was the scene with Bruce and Alfred in the hospital. I just really loved when Bruce kind of confessed to Alfred that for a long time he wasn't sure, or that he wasn't sure that he had that kind of emotion of really would I be scared for someone, and that he felt that for the first time in a long time. The way he slowly confessed that to Alfred in the hospital bed, even though he's kind of rude at first when he woke him up, or when he woke up, you lied to me. Why is that the first thing you say? That was so crazy. That was so crazy, but it was just 5 minutes later he was really sweet because I just really like that he confessed that to Alfred, that like you matter to me and I care about you and I really was worried.
Yeah,
but those are my favorite small scenes.
Even though he clapped on him a couple times, with the cufflinks, bro. He said the cufflinks. He was like, "Oh, but you're Wayne." He was like, "Yo, your dad gave these to me." I was like, "Oh, I'll shut up now." After he said that, Thomas gave me these cufflinks, bro. Oh, my bad. Chill, Bruce. Chill.
He's like, "There's gonna be 2 funerals today if you keep talking."
Yeah.
Yo, Phil, man, what you got, man? What you got for us?
I'm gonna piggyback off of Destiny a little bit and kind of talk more about the Riddler, because the more I think about it, and after seeing the movie 3 times, I'm pretty confident in saying that Paul Dano as the Riddler is hands down my favorite version of the character. Every sequence he was in, I think he absolutely stole the show for me. One particular sequence that kind of stands out, obviously, is when he, when Coulson has the phone and Batman finally, presses the button and, they have their conversation. The entirety of like Paul Dano basically just tormenting the DA with these riddles and like having fun with it is just terrifying in and of itself. And even just Alfred was done for. Hey, Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. Yeah, no, he's right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Ultimately, like, anything with Paul Dano and as the Riddler just really ticked a box for me, because I really do love that character a lot. I love how he gave this obsessive compulsive personality to both Bruce Wayne and Batman, and by the end of it he's so convinced that Batman was there to help him, and Batman's like, "No, I did this to stop you. You're insane. You're gonna die alone. You're a psychopath and you need help." And the way he reacts is just so pitch perfect to who the Riddler is. He's like, no, I had this all planned out. But the way, to Ratner's point, whenever he would get superbly loud and like really, it was wicked creepy. And I loved that about it. Another thing I really did love was, I really like when directors talk about how they make shots come together. And I remember when it was either like a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago, when Matt Reeves was talking about, the car chase in particular, and how that final shot of Batman walking up to Penguin and it's upside down. Apparently that was done in a virtual sequence before they even went and shot it.
Yeah.
That's how that scene was done prior to them actually doing it. The fact that he did it that way first and then went ahead and did it, with the actors present. I love stuff like that. That stuff really just ticks a box for me in a certain regard. I also really love that whole last confrontation between the two, between Batman and the Riddler. Like, that for me is like a top 10 comic book film moment, no question about it.
Nice. Scott, what you got, man?
Okay, I'm going to go a little off book here.
Okay,
and I hinted at this earlier, but I want to talk about the fact that this movie is damn funny. And people need to get a stick out of their butt about this thing's so dark and humorless. I'm sorry. I'm looking for a USB port.
Bro, that's
my wife on my second viewing. My wife went, "Thumb drive," and I was like,
"Oh, this guy's hilarious."
Right, I know. and Jeffrey Wright, this guy's hilarious. You know,
I
like,
love it.
And his
I mean-
like head roll with it too was
Yeah.
just even better.
I know. I mean, I loved that. I mean, there were just these weird little things like, hey, Lieutenant, what about chain of evidence? He's wearing gloves.
He's wearing yes. all of that. Yeah.
I mean, it's like it was organic. It fit with the movie, and I'm sorry, I appreciate a good dark joke. It's
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
it's the jokes that you're like, should I really be laughing? Should I really be laughing at this? Oh, what the hell? Why not? It just I loved that because I like the fact that there tends to be this humor is this way, and I have a very unique sense of humor. Like I give Joey crap because it's like, oh dear God, really? I laugh, Joey. I laugh anyway, but it's still.
I was hoping you do. Thank you.
Now I do, but I have to give you shit about it at the same time. It's
Thank you. Give me a check. Mhm.
But but I appreciate when movies go, okay, you get it. Like this is my dark sense of humor, and I really like this. And on top of that, and Phil mentioned it earlier, but the amount of comic influences that I can sit there as a comic book fan and go, that's Long Halloween, that's Year One, that's Earth One, that's that's When in Rome. It's like there's I love it when it's like I as a comic book fan can check the box and go, well, that's an interesting blend you just that's an interesting blend you just put in there. And now with the news that Gotham PD show has morphed into this Arkham show that we're hearing about, and Matt Reeves has confirmed that in interviews, the fact that they're taking that one particular comic inspiration and they're making Martha an Arkham, so that Bruce is actually this marriage of the Waynes and the Arkhams. Well, that's a particular flavor of crazy that I'm really going to be interested to see. Like what are you like when you make a choice to go with such an Elseworlds take, and you don't go like she's not a Kane, she's an Arkham. Please don't tell me you aren't going to like play with that.
Yeah.
And so the idea that Arkham Asylum is named after like half of Bruce Wayne's family, I'm like, oh, please do something with that. Please play in that sandbox. Because when you get to the end, so much of Batman's story has usually traditionally been accepting and really trying to honor his family's legacy. Like this is what the Waynes are. This is what you should be as a Wayne. This movie flips the table on that and goes, no, you almost have to work in spite of what your family is. Like you have to bring a new legacy to the Waynes because your parents aren't these golden boys and golden girls that everyone thought they were. You have to accept the reality and then choose to do something else with it.
Yes.
Instead of being the traditional, you have to live up to it. So the potential for story is bravo Matt Reeves for like choosing that direction and really making this movie and this interpretation of Batman something unique.
Yeah, which I think we all could appreciate. Dave, man, what you got, man? You got something we can talk about you want to put out there?
I don't know. I feel like, I guess one thing I was looking forward to going into it is like any superhero movie, just because there's so many, like I like seeing something kind of done in them that you don't really see in other movies. Like one thing I loved about like the version of Batman in BVS was like we've never seen Alfred take over the Batwing before and control it, or we've never seen him like Batman go into a room with like 20 armed men with guns and take them all out. Like that was really unique to me. And one thing I liked about this is like that I didn't realize so afterwards is how much like Batman in this movie is like known to the public. Like 'cause he's always kind of like a myth, I feel like, before.
Yeah.
And in this one, he's just like like he knocked on the door of a club and asked to be let in. You know, like,
know who I
hanging
am.
out at USPD with the cops and like just like walking around people, like people know who he
That's
is.
the most gangster shit ever.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you know
The
who I am. Like,
cojones.
You know who I am.
Bro, that shit was dope.
like I love seeing him just like kind of like in the public like that. Like I don't think I've ever seen Batman just like walk around so much in the open like that before.
Yeah.
That was dope. That was dope. Joey, man, you got anything you want to just go off? Or you...
Yeah, I mean, so first off, if you know me, you know I love a good laugh or to make people laugh. So like Scott said, the amount of humor in this was very like unexpected but very appreciated.
Yeah.
Whether it was like, you know, outright funny or like uncomfortable. One of the moments I laughed the most in, I don't know if it was just me, but it's when they open like the final oh god.
Tweedledee and
When
Tweedledum.
they open the final riddle or like the final video from Riddler, and he sits back, doesn't change his voice or anything.
Oh my god, he's just like, thanks,
Hey guys.
Hey guys, how's it going, guys?
So good.
Thanks for all the tips on the detonators.
I was half expecting it to be like, so like and subscribe, and maybe I'll be back next year. I don't know.
I did like this.
My theater laughed both times.
Yeah.
Yes.
That shit was hilarious, man. Yeah.
He could have said like, you know, flood the comments or something like that just to drive home the whole other thing. But
yeah.
Also like the deep cuts. Phil just mentioned like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. That's what the first thing I thought when I saw the twins. I was like, it's got to be them. Like that, not by name. It doesn't have to be.
What up?
But like, you know, if we see them again in another movie, like they got to be working for, you know, Hatter or whatever, and go by those names. And then another thing, which like I think this might have been teasing something for a future movie when he's watching the video that Riddler put out about like his family and how Thomas Wayne had that reporter silenced whose last name was Elliot.
Andrew Elliott, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, 100%.
And then in the next screen, it said like he had him, you know, silenced, and it said hush.
Hush.
And I was like,
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah.
dude, like, you know, I love the Riddler or the Joker tease at the end. I thought it was cool, but I would love to see Hush as like the sequel villain and like maybe save Joker if you use him at all. I'd love to see him like brought back at, you know, like getting his revenge or whatever. And then the action was like I honestly did not know what to expect. But like that final fight scene, like in the rafters and everything, was insane. I got serious like Daredevil season 1 vibes because you felt that fatigue and you felt that like, you know, he was not pulling his punches, but he was kind of just like missing them here and there, and like they got the best of him a few times. You know, like he took that shotgun to the sniper or whatever to the chest. I was like, bruh, dude, this is rough. But it was well done though. Yeah.
Whatever armor Batman uses, and he needs to hook GCPD up.
Yeah.
Like if I was them, I'd be like, "What are you
I give
wearing?"
me one
Because
of
this
those?
man was eating bullets that whole movie.
Well, but then he'd be like, "Oh, I'm fresh out. No, they got. I used the last
I can't make another one. Sorry.
He took a shotgun to the chest. I was not
Yeah,
expecting that.
Yeah. Caught him. I was
Blew
like,
him back
oh.
5 feet. I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh, okay.
I also really like the tension of the when he goes to see him at Arkham and he keeps saying Bruce Wayne, and he's just like, okay, is this
just
motherfucker
Bruce
know who I
Wayne.
am or what's going on? And then like, you know, he keeps looking at the camera. He's like, dude, shut up! You're talking too loud. They're gonna know.
Oh, they're gonna hear you.
He's like, Bruce Wayne. He sounds like a cool guy though. I don't know who that is.
Don't know.
Meg, what you got?
Basically same as everyone else has said. The humor I loved because like a lot of the humor I feel like comes from the awkwardness of Bruce Wayne and how like he doesn't know how to be Bruce Wayne. He only knows how to be Batman. One of my favorite one of my favorite little jokes was when he goes to the club and the twins, he's like, oh, I want to see the Penguin, and they have like this little conversation, and he's like, that suit's gonna be full of blood, and he's like, mine or yours.
Yours.
Dude, that shit, I was like, Oh, okay. The scene, the very end fight scene in the rafters where he's hanging on to like the scoreboard, he throws up his smoke bomb, it goes off, and he jumps through the smoke and starts kicking ass. One thing I did love is that like when he takes the shotgun shot to the chest, it's like it shows him getting his ass kicked a lot. And I feel like that's one thing that gets shied away from sometimes when you see Batman fight. Like they want to show him as like this master at combat, but I really liked how they showed that he gets his butt kicked a lot. And
taking advantage of year 2 Batman though,
the
inexperience, and I like that shit.
And then just another like subtle thing is just the camera work when the Riddler was like exposing the Arkhams and the Waynes, where he takes his cowl off and there's just a shot of just his face, and you just hear the Riddler talking about how crazy his mom was, and just like one of his eyes is just slightly bigger than like the other one, and he's all like, oh, you can tell he had such this perfect image of his father in his head, and he even says it to Alfred, like I'm fighting for him, like he's the reason why I'm fighting. And just to have that whole image just kind of shook because of what the Riddler's doing and having it exposed to everybody. It's not just that Batman's hearing it, it's all of Gotham. No, it's just such a great movie, and it's so crazy that we finally have gotten to see it because it's been delayed and delayed. This movie though would have hit a little bit harder, I think, though, if we were able to see it during Halloween. Like if it was
that shit would hit mad hard.
Everybody would be dressed up.
No shame.
Well, we can watch it this year for Halloween.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, isn't the physical release date like soon? I thought I saw something where it was like
May, I think is
really?
HBO Max is
Yeah, because I think you got some of those home released wet Twitter accounts that's like they seem to have information, but they never have the links or anything. So I'm always like, I hate that because it's like you're basically saying trust me, bro, and
I don't trust you.
I don't trust you. It kind of like which one of these steel books really is going to be the Best Buy steel book that I will be buying. That's going to happen. But what I'm seeing is late May.
I thought it was soon. I know it's like a month and a half from being on HBO Max, but I saw the. As for me, you guys have said all of it. I will say that any type of interaction at a crime scene, I thought was absolutely fire. When he comes into the first one, with the mayor, and then obviously the Riddler's apartment, like all of that interaction to me was just absolutely incredible because it's a thing where like if you think practically, like this is one of the things where I thought not only do the criminals fear Batman, I think the police do to a certain extent because there's enough officers there. You could overpower that guy and take him in because he's a vigilante. Like he's breaking the law. You could literally, there was enough officers at the mayor's apartment. They could overpower that dude. Nobody tried because they ain't not trying to get
the dude put his hand on his chest, but Batman's just looking at him like.
He's like,
and I love how that relationship between that specific officer and Batman like evolves. Because at the end, where he's about to rip up the carpet. The officer just keeps talking, and like Batman gives him like clues to keep like he like shines the light on him. Like he never exchanges a word with him, but he like his body language tells the officer, "Yo, keep talking because I'm figuring it out in my head."
He's like, it's called a tucker. He's like, keep talking.
He just flashes that fucking high beam flashlight.
I'm so glad to finally know what this thing is.
It's one of those beach shovels. He was scooping the sand.
I am not amused.
I am not amused.
Also, one last thing before we wrap. What Destiny was saying earlier about that particular just everything in the beginning when the mayor he leaves, he's watching the TV and he walks away to get the phone, and then behind him you're like, oh shit. That is terrifying. Like the Riddler just standing there, bro. And I was like, oh, it's about to get serious. I just want to mention that real quick too. That beginning as soon
what makes it more scary though is that that kind of noise he lets out before hitting them.
Always,
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like,
And like the inhale that he does when he's about to put the tape on, he's like, oh my god, dude, that shit is so scary.
Yo, literally, Warner Brothers symbol pops up, DC, no music, and then all of a sudden you hear that music come in. It says the Batman, a logo we hadn't seen yet. It's different from the main logo, and then you just hear that breathing. I was like, okay, it's this dude is
I really
absolutely
like
insane.
How the opening with the Riddler stalking this family is like so like you see the parallel to Batman like stalking Catwoman in the apartment.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Yes.
and then at the very end, how like the Riddler's saying like we're the same, like we helped each other, we did this, and
You're
it's
a part
like
of this too.
the more because I've been literally, I mean, I think we've all just been talking about this movie like on streams and on Twitter and group chats since we've seen it, and the more I talk about it, the more I'm connecting like how like it's so crazy that like the Riddler and Batman basically are trying to do the same thing, but just on totally different spectrums of like, oh, it's just so goddamn good. I cannot wait to see the Rogues Gallery like form, and because we've obviously seen the Joker at the end and how to see them interact at some point together, because like we've never really gotten like a full Rogues Gallery that just like would like they're gonna fuck Batman's shit up, and I can't wait. I can't wait. Like I want a scene of them like somewhere in the trilogy. I want a scene of them just sitting around a table or something, just like
Plotting a
scheming,
heist or something.
just
That'd be
scheming on him, man.
Yeah.
I know.
isn't there
Scott,
like an animated series like that? Show like that in their episode on the animated series where it
There's
has
an
all the
animated,
television
yeah.
series?
Probably.
Kind of.
Almost got him, kind of. There's that.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
that one,
almost
yeah.
got him is about as close. The closest really would be something like the Batman '66 movie.
Yes. Yeah.
nice. Scott, I know you got to bounce. You got another stream to jump on real quick. So tell everybody where they can find you, man.
Of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27. You can find my podcast, the DC Squadcast, wherever podcast can be found. Our latest episode is our review of The Batman, but we're also on Vero, Facebook, YouTube, with the entire network of shows at squadcastmedia.com. And as Anthony mentioned, I can be found every Sunday night in about 7 minutes, going live on the Film Junkie YouTube channel with Batman, the Fanimated stream, where we talk about every episode in production order of Batman, the animated series. Tonight is going to be Heart of Steel Part 2.
Ooh.
Nice.
You got that down.
I just
God.
can we just appreciate how great Scott looks in that shirt?
Yeah.
Scott, I need the link to that shirt.
Yeah,
Yes.
the
Link to that
topic.
shirt.
Batman Hawaiian shirt. Yes, dude.
Hot topic.
Look at you.
Hot topic. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm
That's
gonna pop
dressed
up in that shirt and I'm gonna tag you when I do. 'Cause I am.
Nice.
Same.
Oh man.
I know what I'm doing after work tomorrow.
We'll go around the horn. Dave, man, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can follow me on Twitter at Ohio Dave with 2 E's. Same thing on Instagram and Vero. And if you like to watch people play games or just talk it up, I'm live daily on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ohio Dave.
Nice. Also, if you feel like sharing that record behind you, like send it in the mail.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, you
Right
said
there.
you said you're gonna.
Yeah, I'm right there. That one.
Send it
I
over.
don't know if you get the signature. There. No,
I need something.
Big
Ask-
flex.
Ask
I need
Mac
something to
what he
match
thought
this
of the
poster
movie,
back here that Dave
'cause
sent. The
I
one
really
signed
want
by
to
Zach.
know what
I got a
Zach
steel
thought.
book up here you might want, Anthony. I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
saying.
hey.
Oh,
Yo, send me all the signed memorabilia, bro. That's how, oh shit, Phil, man, tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, thanks for having me on. It's been a lot of fun talking with every one of you
man.
about the Batman. You can all find me just there, unfiltered, Twitter, Vero, Instagram. You can also catch my podcast, The Eternal Night, as well as Superhero Stress. More so, The Eternal Night. I'm doing that with Craig more so than anything. You can also catch me on the Four Nerds Network as well as the ACS Universe most Friday nights.
All right, man. All right, Destiny, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me on my Twitter here, and you can find me on my. Wait, I will never get good at that. But you can find me on my podcast, DCNT, where I'll probably be talking about the Batman. And on my YouTube channel, They Love, where I'll probably be talking about the Batman more, as well as Gotham, because I'm finally watching that.
Nice. I saw where you were. Yeah, going back through Gotham. Rap Nerd, where can they find you, man?
Yep, my name right there. Wherever this is, I'm pointing wrong, but I'm there. So I'm on Twitter. I have a YouTube channel, same address, Instagram, all of that. Everything is there. And yeah, thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely.
Nice, appreciate it. Yo, everybody's having a problem pointing that thing out.
Yeah.
Amanda, where can they find you? She knows where.
No. I had it. I was so. Oh, anyway, you guys are all amazing. Such a blast every single time I'm on, and just you guys are fantastic. All of you, please like, subscribe to everyone here. You guys are awesome. This is a great discussion. You guys can always follow me over at AMXND Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. You can check out my YouTube, Candid Cinema, and my website, candidxcinema.com. I have my Turning Red review dropping on the website tomorrow. And on Tuesday, over at the Suda Peaks, we are ranking the Rogues Gallery. So,
Ooh.
very
Ooh.
excited about that.
Batman Rogues Gallery?
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fire discussion. Appreciate it, Jason. So, we thank you guys for stopping by. I know Scott had to bounce. This is always fun. You can the three hosts of this show. You'll find our information in the outro. But yeah, this is fire. This is fun, man. I can't wait for the next whatever to come out so we can all jump on here and discuss it and show some love and things of that nature.
Oh, you have a new movie coming out, AC, right? AC?
Huh?
Black Adam?
Okay. Bro,
we just got back from our set visit. It was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, if you
Nice.
want
Okay.
exclusive interviews with our friend here, The Rock, just gotta send
go through us.
Joey, Venmo, Joey and I about a couple
Take it
$100
easy,
and we'll hook
sweetheart.
that up.
Or Dave, you could just send me that record through the mail and then
Oh, yeah. Oh,
get right to it.
okay.
Yeah,
Dave
or you
gonna
could just
pop up on Rebel
Venmo us
Moon,
a
say
couple
what?
$100.
Yeah, or just send me the record, Dave. Send the
Or
record.
$100. What's up?
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Relax. Don't have a movie coming out. Wish, but don't have a movie.
Actually,
anyway.
The Rock looks like Anthony,
Ooh.
so
What?
not.
Chris is
Yeah.
banned from our chat.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Chris.
sorry, Chris, but
Ooh.
cancel.
All right. Thank y'all for coming on. This has been a fucking absolute blast. We'll see you guys
Yes,
next
thank you,
time.
guys.
World's Finest out.